on the system.
On the system. Hey, watch your mouth streaming.
Okay, so I have it on my side coming up. All right, so I'll give you the link to the live stream on the. Which channel should I put it on? I'll put it on some channel. Let me just get the link somewhere. Where are you?
Put it in general. Put it in general.
Okay.
Actually, it should come up in videos, but just put it in general.
Yeah, I have the stream unlisted right now so that you can just check it before we start. Need to find the link. Stream options. No. Just give me a second. I'm just grabbing it. Taking a while to go through my internet.
Okay, my ideals may actually go. It's going through. I
haven't seen the new opening yet.
There it is.
I should go watch the video.
Okay, just coming onto Discord to put this link on now. Power, I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you doing, man? Having a good life?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I was able to get Cordelia like the other day, and I've been taking advantage of that SP glitch. So yeah, I've been doing good. And have you been
playing that game if you're not gonna play it for real?
What?
Why even use a glitch?
Well, I've been using playing the game perfectly fine. It's just that it's just farming SP can be annoying at times. So doing something that could get me about 700 something SP for a single kill, that sounds like a lot of fun to have.
Wait, that's a glitch?
Yeah, there's a glitch going on with the multiplier. You didn't know?
No. I'll look it up. Okay, did you see? I'm putting it on the videos channel. I just put it right there.
Oh.
I'm gonna do an ad here just to be mean.
Anyway, you can check the video out and tell me how it sounds.
I'm glad I let you know that's the thing.
No, thanks, Power.
You're welcome. You're probably not gonna have too much time after this to take advantage of it, but
testing 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Hug you and me. Yeah, I've been able to use it with Summer Leo, Summer Cordelia.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Summer Tana. I'm really hoping I could at least get Summer Robin before those first summer banners go away.
Yeah, I've given up on this.
Louder? Should I talk a little bit louder?
I've personally given up on those summer banners myself.
Well,
Trip, can you just raise my volume like 10%?
Okay. 1 second. Let's see. How do we do this? User volume.
You right click and then shift it a little bit to the right.
Yeah, you're at 100 for me. I'll just switch. I'll check the settings on the audio here.
Dude, no, just literally go to Discord and like right click and drag.
I did.
My volume.
I did. You're at 100%. You're at 100%.
Just go take that 100% and like shift it to like 110 or 120.
That's an option? It's not an option on my side.
What do you mean it's not an option on your side? It's an option on like everybody's side.
You said to like right click your icon, right?
Yeah, right click my icon and yeah.
And then user volume?
And yeah, in the thing.
Yeah, if you even look at the stream, because I'm doing it on there, like I can't get it past 100.
What are these lies?
Just look at the stream, like it's right there on the stream.
Oh, what are you even using?
Discord.
I mean, you're supposed to be able to do this on a. I'm rehearing our conversation. It's pretty weird.
Are you louder though? Are you louder on the stream?
You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'm not even that quiet. It's okay.
I've boosted you a little bit on the OBS part of it. You can try talking again.
So,
and then user volume.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's fine.
Right.
Let's start.
We are
Here we go again.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Whoa, I want some more. Whoa, what are we waiting for?
What are we waiting for?
Guys, we are live. I just want you to know that.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm still
warming up the pipe.
Because I have
Welcome to the Tripl-L podcast. I'm your host TGC, alongside Trippin' Prowertastic.
Hello.
And today we will be talking about, I'm not even going to do this stupid podcast voice. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of Darling in the Franxx. The beautiful everything about that entire series. Going from ass pilot to love to, I don't know. I can't hide my excitement at the moment. I'm thinking too much to speak. This is going to be amazing. Are you guys excited? Huh?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't think there was a fall, but I'm excited. Prower, what about you?
Well, based on what I could tell, there was a fall. I'm excited to get this started, as much as just for viewers, as well as viewers who will see this afterwards. I'm basically an outsider looking in, as I have not watched Darling in the Franxx. I've seen some clips and some analysis videos, but besides that, I have not watched a full episode.
You've actually not watched a full episode, any of the episodes, like you've watched a little bit of some and then stopped.
I've seen clips like that on YouTube, clips of certain moments.
Oh wow!
Okay. Well, that's cool.
I told you ahead of time. And now you're
saying, it's like a wow, because I thought you watched maybe till episode 9, or maybe you got episode 3 in, you were like, oh, it's just fun. None of the episodes. It's more funny than I am surprised. So
it's okay. I like the extra perspective.
I told you that I'm somewhat lazy when it comes to that kind of stuff. Unless if it's something like My Hero Academia that I'm really interested in, I'm probably it would take me a bit to actually look it up and watch a full episode.
No, man, that's totally cool, because now we can tell you about crazy stuff happening, and you as a normal person can tell us, hey, that sounds pretty stupid. That's the thing that you can give us here.
So wipe your memory completely of anything. Wipe your memory of any clip that you've seen, and just let us narrate what happened. What happened during
Again,
the story.
I said I saw. I've
Just
seen plenty of analysis videos
Just
too.
don't even think of that. Just react to our commentary.
Based on what I figured out, Jerome is best boy.
Who?
What?
It's
Jerome.
Yeah, Jerome.
Oh, all right.
It's kind of true, man. I think Zorome like overtook Goro in that last episode.
Well, he stayed stable. He stayed stable. That's definitely something.
And fun fact, his voice actress in Japanese, Mitsumi Tomura, also voiced Kobayashi in Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Huh. Well, I did not know that. Thank you.
This is interesting.
That was very interesting.
Well, his English voice actress is named Ryan Reynolds.
But it's not like, yeah, I know. I also saw that.
What?
I was disappointed to see that it wasn't the real Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, okay. It's just some guy with the same name. All right, cool.
It's a woman with the same.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Apologies.
Wait.
She also voices 13 in My Hero Academia.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks for the extra fun facts there, Power.
Yeah, I know I'm known for actually knowing voice actors, actually, so I made sure to refresh myself on, like, I've done some research myself and pull up, the names of that sort of stuff. So I have them just out. I could answer that sort of stuff.
I appreciate it. So,
Thanks,
TGC,
Rob.
what's the structure here? How are we going to tackle this wonderful series?
Well, first, I think, we gotta get everybody to understand what the series is about. Let's first give them a rundown on the positives, right? Let's say this is the premise. This is why you should consider watching this story. And then we'll talk about what happened and how it fell from its grace, if it even had it. So, Darling the Franxx is a show about kids who are trying to find themselves and find their sexuality and their relationships with their other friends who are also kids in this world, in this dystopian future where individualism and love and even friendship are foreign concepts. Humanity has become very individualistic. People are no longer searching for happiness and contentment. They no longer feel the need for partners, and you see these children who are developing bonds with one another, who are exploring their ability to be friends and be lovers. And it's a very interesting thing because they're going against their society, and that's always been a very good and interesting storyline. Many stories have been based around this. And that's why, initially, these are some good things for a story to have. It allows for it to explore themes that are interesting. And then the story fell off. So how about, Trip, you try to recap from start to finish what happened?
All right. Let's go in this story. Like you said, at the beginning, it was a much more interpersonal story. It was much more about the feelings budding in this unit of kids. Every week when we were talking about it for the podcast, it was about, how is this relationship drama affecting this party? How are the relationships, how are the emotions affecting the kids' health? We had all those really cool extra subtext details like the fevers and just the general idea that emotional well-being had to do something with how healthy the kids were. So it made everything feel really interconnected. The first half of the season had that really nice cap off with 02 and Hiro finally realizing that they knew each other for so long, and I think that is one of the pinnacle of the series. And then the next couple of episodes past episode 12 were they were fine. They were just more of the same and just going on with just the general status quo. They were very hopeful. Then episode 20 happened, and after that,
yes, and before we get to episode 20, I think that for anybody who hasn't watched the series, let's do a quick recap. So, story is basically about the two main characters, Hiro and 02. Hiro's like this kid. They live in like this weird society where all of the kids, like basically all of them are like fighters who pilot mechs, and they just like do that for like their entire lives, and that's like their only purpose in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to begin the series, we have Hiro. He's like down on his luck. He can't become one of the mech pilots. He's been performing really poorly in all of his test runs. He can't do it. So like he's like really depressed and stuff. And it's like, wow, this is pretty depressing. And then we meet like a goddess in 02. She's like the best thing ever to ever happen to the anime community. And basically they like really hit it off. She's like, dude, you're my darling. And we're like, why is she calling him his darling? And then we find out later. But she's like, darling. And then like he pilots the thing with her. And basically he becomes like the first guy ever to like survive like more than three rounds. Yeah, fights, like whatever it is with her. And they're like, whoa, Hiro, you're actually like pretty useful. Let's make you a part of like the squad. And she's like, so 02, you two. And then we have like a bunch of side characters who also do stuff, and they're like Hiro's friends and whatever. And then we have like this very interesting love, the
Decahedron?
Love Decagon, where we have Hiro is in love with 02, but his friend Ichigo is in love with him. 02 is also in love with Hiro, but Ichigo, two people are in love with Ichigo. Goro's in love with Ichigo, and her friend Ikuno is also in love with her. Very interesting. Then we have the next two people. Then we have Hiro, someone's in love with him. Another person's in love with him other than Ichigo and 02, a guy named Mitsuru. At least earlier in their lives, he was very obsessed, or not obsessed, but like he loved Hiro very much.
He was
then
scorned.
Things happened.
Yeah.
But Mitsuru falls in love with a girl named Kokoro. Kokoro is also in love with him. But she has this dude that's in love with her named Futoshi. Futoshi basically gets chapter of the entire series. He's not all that important. Our nickname for him on this thing was Fat Toshi, because he was a chubster. And yeah, and then like we have like two characters who are basically in their own little realm, Zorome and Miku. They're like the two best characters in the entire series. So that's that. That's like a little thing for you. Those are like the 10 most important characters in the series. No one else really matters. So basically, these guys, they fight with one another, like on the battlefield. They go through a lot of like growing pains as a squad. Like they have a lot of interpersonal episodes. There's a beach episode. There's like a cute little like the girls like make a line in the middle of the house, like like a sitcom kind of thing. It was basically it was great. It was pretty nice. I liked it. Like everybody liked it, but yeah. So there were like some interesting things that happened, and then episode 12 comes around, and it turns out that Heroes known 02 for basically their entire lives. So that's cool. He realizes like, whoa, I love you, 02, and whatever. And then like 3 episodes later, they have this huge like last hurrah where like they claim their love for each other, and then like the mech transforms into like an even mech, and then stuff. And then after that, we get like 3 episodes of basically not much, more slice of life. It was nice. Mitsuru and Kokoro try getting married, but then the government finds out, and the government's like, no, you guys can't get married. And then they lose their memories. It's very sad. And then 2 episodes after that, we have the aliens invade. Oh yeah, the aliens invade. Basically, the entire series they've been fighting dinosaurs, but now they're fighting. The dinosaurs are also fighting the aliens. The government is the aliens, and then after that, Hero and Zero Two make this super duper duper big mech, like the biggest mech ever, and then they like travel for hundreds of thousands of billions and billions of miles across the outer space, intergalactic, whatever, and they fight the aliens after fighting them on Earth with their gigantic mech, and their mech only gets bigger, and their mech keeps transforming into like a better mech every single time. It's very interesting. And yeah, and then they like destroy the aliens, and but they also die, but they don't really die because their spirits are holding hands. And then all the other side characters pretty much get shafted for like the last 3 episodes, even though they're pretty much the most important part of the story because it's like their love and support that allowed these two people to come together. But you know, it's fine, it's fine. But aliens are important. Aliens. What else about the aliens? Yeah, the aliens were that's just aliens. It was a series about fighting dinosaurs, and then it became a series about fighting aliens. But
the
also
dinosaurs
the aliens
were
were. Oh yeah, and the dinosaurs. Yeah, like I think I got that. And then but the dinosaurs are also aliens. They came to planet Earth like billions of years before the humans did, and then like they fought the aliens. But the aliens lost, I think, or like they became like a lot of stuff happened.
No, I think the dinosaurs were guy. Yeah, I think the dinosaurs were the initial species, and then they fought the aliens.
Yes. Oh,
one second,
no. So they
I'm
go
I'm just gonna disconnect real quick. 1 second. Okay, continue on.
So the aliens were a race that just came to the planet, but then the aliens. Oh, okay. So the first aliens, the dinosaurs were a race that came to the planet as like human, like they had human bodies. There was like sapiens, like Homo sapiens, but like Dino sapiens, basically.
Klaxo sapiens.
And then, they're like dinosaurs and they lived. And then the aliens are like this big entity, that like try to get everybody to like live together in a singular thing. Have you ever watched Gurren Lagann? It's basically Gurren Lagann, except it's not Gurren Lagann because it's done very poorly. But the aliens are like trying to get them to like be a part of their like collective consciousness, because that's what the aliens are. They're like this one gigantic collective consciousness. And then like the dinosaurs are like, no, we're not going to do that. And then they fight, and then they turn into like mechs. And then and then there's also this doctor dude who just needs you to know that he's an atheist. Like he will, like if you just speak of God at all around him, you'll be like, dude, I'm an atheist. And he wants you to know. He just really wants you to know. And also he killed his wife basically by proxy, because he just wasn't very. And he also had like a really big crush on the dinosaurs, for whatever reason. And yeah, I think I got it covered, mostly.
Okay. Prower, how did you feel about that? 1 second, Prower.
I've seen, as well as some of the clips, I knew about multiple moments like that. Like, I've definitely seen both the original sub and the dub versions of that one house scene where they have the tape and in the middle, and I found it quite humorous. But what really caught my interest in potentially watching the show was something that I didn't hear you mention, because they really didn't focus too much on it, and that could have been quite interesting, is the subject of humanity. And quite frankly, it went into O2 for the most part, about what makes them human, and would they really call like O2 human, and all, despite being technically the dinosaurs that they were fighting through the first half. Remember that
I forgot to mention this. O2, who's like the other main character, she's best girl. She's like half dinosaur. Yeah, she's also the daughter of Franxx and a dinosaur. Oh, sorry, the old dude who's an atheist and a dinosaur. But basically, like her thing in like the early series is that she's trying to become like human. She's trying to prove that she's human, even though she like looks human and she acts human. She speaks in the human tongue, and then like the only thing different about her is that she has horns. Like literally the only thing different about her is that she has horns, and that's like the only thing that people are willing like to look at. They're like, oh my god, you have horns, and like the horns kind of make her pretty cute, to be honest. Like they're horns, man. Like they're not like weird horns. They're like two little things that come out of her head, and for whatever reason, everybody looks at those and like and say you're a dinosaur. But she's not a dinosaur. She looks like a human. She's literally a human. She acts human. Does she want to kill a lot of dinosaurs? Sure. You know, she can kind of act weird most of the time. She's human, and that's the problem with the story is that they just didn't seem to understand that she's human, and like it's pretty disappointing, honest. And yeah, basically that's it. And then she and everybody's like, you're not human, and like other people are like, you're not human, even though she's pretty much human, or at least half human. That's kind of how it is.
And the only reason why she became as human as she was in the first place was to find her darling, which, as she later discovers, was Hero the entire time.
Oh, but it was Hero. She's calling him that like the entire, like obviously, like they didn't even have to make that reveal because she starts calling him that the moment they meet.
But that was because like she was replacing him or something. Like, look, it was really weird. Darling? They were never really clear about it. They never wanted to be clear about it. Like they made it seem like she knew, but like at the same time she didn't know. It was.
She was like, "I'm looking for my real darling," and I'm like, "He is your real darling." It's like the only thing different about him is that he lost his memories when he's talking about it.
She lost it too.
Well, technically she lost it too, and I've seen some that it's basically they had her testing him to see if she was unsure whether or not Hero was, so she tried testing him with like certain lines from the book, and he didn't seem to really catch on, and that disappointed her.
Look, man, a lot of the character drama was based around the fact that these two had identity issues. That's what it ultimately came back to.
Yeah, basically the story tries to be a little bit cheeky. They introduced this book in the middle of the anime, and basically like the book highlights the story of like a prince and a monster, like a demon princess, right? And she goes and to this one like witch, and the witch. Think of like Mermaid, like the Little Mermaid, but like the girl's a demon instead of mermaid, and basically like she turns back into a demon at some point. She's like, "Oh no, I have to leave," and then she leaves, and then she cries because that's very sad. Basically, they try to make like this parallel the entire time. The problem is, they make it such a focus during the second half of the series that kind of like that like the problem is that they don't introduce it early enough to really make that much of an impact. And during the second part of like the second half of the season, it's like, well, their relationship is fully intact. There's honestly not very much of a point for this to be going on.
I mean, to be fair, like,
and at the end,
yeah,
and at the end, basically, it's like, oh, let's rewrite the story, like happy ever after, in like a way, but yeah.
Yeah, well, like, one thing to point out for sure, this series, they had a lot of metaphors everywhere. Like, they had it from the beginning with that one bird that joins together to be two because it only has one wing. Mind you, like, that's a stupid bird. That bird has no right surviving in the world. But like, it was like that the whole way through with all its metaphors. Like, there was Mistletoe entering horny. There was, like, the plant symbolism with the pistol, the stamens, and the Franxx. There was that story halfway through. It was just, there was a lot of metaphors, and they just kind of shoved them all in there.
The thing is, like, you shove in a metaphor, but like the thing is, there's no point on this metaphor if you're not going to like make a point of it. The problem with the bird thing is like they make a mention of it during like episode 1, and then it literally is like mentioned 2 more times during this. It's mentioned during episode 15 and then episode 24.
Yeah.
Like so, like the beginning of the series, they introduce it, and then like the first climax of the series, they introduce it again, and then the finale, they introduced it the last time. They just bring it to a close, even though it was kind of obvious at that point. It's like they see it, it's like they failed to understand that the viewers had at that point had understood that the relationship was strong. It's like they didn't understand that about their viewers, and that was like a very disappointing thing to see.
I guess in a way it's disappointing. I mean, I didn't expect anything better there.
At very least, you have to bear in mind that there seem to be some production issues in the back end, apparently, from what I've understood from article. I have to find it again, but it stated that Trigger started putting less and less work into the series halfway through, which left A1 having carried most of the whole from there on forth, and they're not necessarily A1's more well known for pulling out mediocre stories. Well,
that wasn't the problem. It was like, yes, there was. I think I would believe that maybe there might have been a drop off in writing at the middle point in the series. There's no the alien plot could have been like literally be written in so late. Like it had to have been a part of like the script that they started on. That Trigger knew about. Like Trigger had to have worked on that script as well. There was no way that this was like simply in A1 Productions problem.
So basically, according to you, the meaning would go like this. Okay, well, essentially, we had to have Hero and O2 fight the robots, fight the aliens in the end, the giant robot. And Trigger be like, okay, we're fine with that as long as they take sexual poses when they pilot the robot.
I just find it, like, for me, I think me and Trip find it more likely for it to have been a joint, like more of like a Trigger influence for the giant robot and what's it called, for giant robot on Aliens for the finale, because it's more of a Trigger thing to do.
Yeah, the entire their Trigger, one of their biggest accomplishments. They're like, hey, remember Gurren Lagann? Well, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they didn't work on Gurren Lagann. Their predecessor, Gainax, did, but it's interesting. So,
I know that the multiple members of the crew did work on Gurren Lagann.
Well, yeah, they're like a child studio of Gainax, and a lot of the people who were in Gainax that worked on Tengen Toppa's Gurren Lagann then went on to form Trigger, and that's why we have Trigger.
Right, I mean, that's what I was trying to get at, and I hope that no one makes comments being like, "Yeah, it was Gainax, not Trigger." You fail, you idiot.
It's okay.
I'm gonna sell it.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. All things considered, though, when it came to the alien plot, I remember watching it and I thought, yeah, okay, that seems pretty anime. I accepted it on the point of the novelty of anime, because if there was ever going to be a moment where all of a sudden aliens attacked, it was either going to be Ancient Aliens or anime. Those are the two places I would see that kind of thing happening all of a sudden.
It's definitely like a trope that that mechs have always been interested in. Like, it's just like, whoa, aliens, dude. Just aliens all of a sudden. Like, even in Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, it's like you go through half the series. You go through 17 episodes. I think two-thirds of the way through the series, you get finish the first climax of the story by like episode 17. and then you have 10 episodes left to tell like the rest of the story. And like in episode 18, they're just like aliens, dude, and you're like, yo. And like they do it with enough time so that you're like, dude, aliens, that's so lit. Like you literally are excited to see these aliens because what they did is they had like a proper conclusion to the first set of stories. The problem with Trigger or like with Darling and the Franxx was not that not the aliens, is that the aliens came out of nowhere. There was never this like this connection. Like if we had gotten a lot more exposition or some kind of like clues about the origin of the Klaxosaurs early in the series, like through like the first 10 episodes, then it would have been more interesting to see how the rest of the series would have played out instead of like you dropping like information on our head during episode 19. By doing that, you basically failed the series.
Although I will say again, to like the credit of the aliens, I did appreciate the aliens because it gave a sense of the kids don't matter, right? Because all of a sudden they're having their own mini drama, and then all of a sudden aliens show up, and then you have that episode also with the kids just being ignored by the aliens, and it just gave that sense of you guys are unimportant, which is cool, like for the novelty of it, but it doesn't work for a story, right? Because in a story you want to be rewarded for paying attention, and those kind of twists all of a sudden are just kind of cop outs.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like you who is it? J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams, like, you want your viewers to like solve the problem. You want to leave them clues and tidbits, and at the end they like figure it out, right? It's what's interesting about mysteries is that like they'll leave you clues and stuff, and then you'll be like, huh, I figured it out. It was this person all along before the story even gives you it, because like you as the viewer like to figure things out for yourself. And early in the series, like they were doing a very good job of that. It was like, oh, we're gonna sow some seeds that are pretty obvious, but like we're gonna sow some obvious seeds that like this society isn't really what it's meant out to be, which is like obvious from like the first episode. But you know, by like episode 10, you're like, oh, so clearly they're gonna go in this like different route where they're like, by episode 10, when Sorome meets his mom, right? He's like, you're like, oh, so clearly, you know, eventually they're gonna like break off, because this is not a society that any normal human would want to be a part of. So that's just gonna go into the series. So like, yeah, they're dropping obvious clues, dropping little tidbits here and there, but it, you know, it's at least making you have to work your mind. But when you give us aliens for no reason, two things are problematic. The exposition dump that comes 2 episodes before the alien is extremely weird. Because if you're gonna change the series so drastically, why would you give us an episode where literally like you're building up towards nothing? It's disappointing.
Prower, are you still there? Just checking to make sure that I can still hear you. 1 second, Prower. Caught it. All right, cool. Someone was just asking me what I felt about the ending, so I'm just gonna give my quick thoughts about the ending so that people watching know my stance on it. Overall, I think we can all agree that Darling and the Franxx is at its best in the first half of its run. I think we can all agree with that. Like up to where 02 and Hiro love each other and they turn into a giant red robot. I think we can all agree that that was pretty good. Once it got into the alien stuff, things just kind of steamrolled beyond that. And when it came to that final episode, I think the final episode, I really enjoyed it because it turned into an epilogue for everyone on Earth. And for Hiro and 02, they just did their very boring kind of journey across the universe. But what I ultimately like about that final episode is that it gave a lot of emotional closure to the people. I like that everyone has a happy ending. I like that Hiro and 02 are given the possibility of another life. I like that reincarnation got confirmed as a system for the whole universe, because that opens up some pretty cool ideas about reincarnation and what the Verm were doing. And ultimately, I like it for the happy ending. I would say, like, if you like Darling in the Franxx for the characters, there's no reason to not like that ending. If you like Darling in the Franxx for the story, there's a lot of reason to not like that ending. That's my overall stance
So
on it.
I said like immediately after I finished the episode, I was like, in my feelings, I was like, I am very conflicted about this episode because it was good and bad at the same time. I thought about 60% of it was great, and those were like all the moments that we were back on Earth and we were witnessing, the people, like these characters who, like, as much as they were side characters, they were more main characters, as they had like a lot of lines that they were very important to the entire series,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you were interested to see them develop. So like the way that they got shafted in the 3 episodes prior felt terrible,
Yeah.
but the way that they're developed in the next 3 episodes or in this final episode, and you see them all reach like a very happy ending, is good to see, because those are like things that you like. But at the same time, we like focus 50% of like a non-existent, not important alien plot where Hero and Zero Two are just floating in space, going towards
Yeah.
aliens, and then they're
Just
gonna get there.
walking
And like
to a place. Just
the
there.
entire time, they're gonna win.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no tension. There's no tension. It's like you
they're
waste half
just
the episode.
you're
showing
just
me
kind of
something.
watching them walk to their doom. Which is why that reincarnation note is a nice pick me up for people who cared, because it's like, okay, well, that's something.
Yeah, oh yay, they're gonna meet again in like however long.
And like they
In
pretty
like the
much
couple
got
of
to
hundred.
hold each other for like hundreds of thousands of years through space. So I really don't feel that bad for them. They got to like be in each other's embrace for so long.
Yeah, true, and I like that too, and especially because it's like Nana and like imagine Nana and Hachi's like reaction
Yeah,
about
right?
like us
Because
seeing like these two kids.
yeah, like look exactly like them, because by the end of it, this was really weird actually. Prower, something happened where two of the sort of adults ended up being eternal, and they just
Immortal.
live. I want to be careful with saying immortal, but pretty much Prower. That's pretty much what happened, and they end up living through all the generations, and they give you a line saying like, yeah, we're not really kids, we're not really adults, we're just kind of there on the precipice, and they just stay young forever. That was so weird, and actually that's one thing I didn't like about the finale. A lot of weird plot points that we had built up in the beginning of the series just kind of got dropped, like the Hachi Nana note, and then the whole gray hair situation. Like, you can infer it, but some people ended up with gray hair, some people didn't. Miku had it, Futoshi had it, Ikuno went all out, so she lost it. It was just, I wish those things could have had more meaning to it. I wish they could have given us like a nice one line to explain it. Even the Hachi and Nana thing, I was very happy that they told us we're immortal.
They explain like the accelerated aging thing, and at the end they're like, oh, Ikuno, thank you for wasting your time as an adult, like figuring out how to.
But my thing was more, why do Zorome, Goro, and Thingamabob, Ichigo, have no gray hairs, right? Whereas Miku started developing gray hairs, Futoshi started developing gray hairs. When you look at those set of characters, like, you can tell Goro for sure was more emotionally balanced than everyone else there. Zorome was also kind of stable most of the time because he was supporting his friends more. Futoshi had health problems, and Miku was also just not relevant. It felt like the non-relevant characters were the ones that were graying, as opposed to like the adventurous characters, you know? So I wondered if an emotional stability did play a factor in that.
I mean, maybe it's just that like they're just really good. You know, yeah. Goro is very good. He's like number 17 or number 19.
That's whatever. Right. That could be it too. Could have been the numbers.
Ichigo is like number 16. So like maybe the higher your rating is, better. The longer you last, the better you perform.
I did not think of that. That's a good point. That's a really good point. That's totally reasonable.
Oh, you're talking about Goro being emotionally stable. Didn't he at one point in the series step out of his mech in the middle of a battlefield?
Oh yeah, he did that a lot though.
No.
Oh yeah,
Oh, I mean,
He
yeah,
stepped out of the mech to
yeah.
let Hiro ride. He ejected Ichigo from the mech so he could sacrifice himself. I still think he was a very emotionally stable guy. Like he was confident.
He was just a very emotionally aware about everybody else. So, like, he would do smart things or dumb things in order to like get everybody to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, like at the end of the whole story, Prower, he goes on a journey to find more fertile lands. Like this is the guy that was doing a lot for the group.
He's basically, and this was the strength of the series at the beginning, was that like they had a lot of interesting characters, and everybody was very attracted to Goro. Goro, number one, had the coolest hair. His design was the nicest because he had the cool glasses. He was extremely tall. He was basically the best looking, and then he was the best, the best person out of the entire group. Like out of everybody in the squad, he was the coolest and the best, basically. And that was like a lot of what he was. It was interesting because he was basically a Mary Sue, except not a Mary Sue.
He was just a nice guy. He was a reasonable guy. I could see myself agreeing with Goro or like having pleasant conversation with someone like him.
It really sucks that his best friend was Hiro.
I think pre-depression Hiro would have been a great best friend for him. Post-depression Hiro,
yeah, true.
Like pre-depression Hiro,
It's
I think is the best.
Even like post-depression Hiro, like the rest of your choices among the guys are Zorome, Futoshi, and Mitsuru. And I mean, like, none of them are really best friend like capable.
Yeah.
Like none of them are really gonna mix with him, even like as well as post-depression.
Yeah, like Zorome was kind of a follow fashion. Like when it was cool to make fun of Hiro, he would do it. But when Hiro like was cool again, Zorome was all over him.
I think that was a writing problem, straight up, dude. Everybody in the group hated. Yeah, dude. Everybody in the group was like making fun of Hiro for like a bunch of episodes, and then it was like, oh wait, Hiro, we love you again. Apparently, it was very, very interesting.
Really fun. I write it off as impressionable.
No, because Mitsuru has way more balls at the start of the series than he does for the rest, and like that might be because like 02 destroyed him, but like he still made fun of Hiro like a lot more during the start than like later. Same thing with Futoshi.
Futoshi doesn't have much of a personality.
And Hiro is like, Hiro's like a very, and like, it's a writing problem because Hiro's very different at the start of the series than he is during the rest. Like during the rest, like when we get to episode 9, he's more of like the calm, like Goro type, like whereas like, like I'm gonna joke around with you guys, I'm not gonna fight anyone. Compared to at the start, he was about to throw down with Zorome. Like Zorome was like making fun of him, and he was like, "Say that again," and like he was squaring up, and then someone had to come in and like stop him.
I would still argue that that's confidence and calmness, just the character developing. Because by episode 9, he had a lot of interactions with 02. He's feeling more validated. I think those new stimuli could make him feel a bit more rounded out.
Like going from hot-headed to extremely calm, to almost indifferent. Like he went from hot-headed to indifferent
to zen.
And it was very weird.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Good point for episode 9. Good point. Maybe the hot-headedness might have been an issue if he just wasn't characterized enough. I'd have to look.
He wasn't like everybody was characterized like extremely what's the word inconsistently. So for example, Zorome being Zorome might have been one of the most consistently
Him.
like
He was,
characterized characters, but
yeah,
it's
he was
weird to
consistently
see
him.
He was, yeah. So it was like it was interesting to see him at the beginning. He's very confident in himself, and like you get that for the rest of the series, and then at the end he does the weird thing with Futoshi where he's like yelling at him to eat, and like no one had seen like Futoshi not eating, so like this was very weird. But it was kind of on both sides because like it's him worrying for his friend, but at the same time it didn't make much sense in the sense of the story. But Goro on one hand is weird because you see him at different points having like different roles as the leader. So like at some point he's completely Ichigo's bitch. Like he isn't like the singular most important force in making decisions, but and like he doesn't really say anything except to be there. Um and then later in episode 9, even though it's the best, maybe it's probably the best episode, he's weird because he acts differently. Like he's a pervert in that episode. Which is like he was like
I need to look back at episode 9. I don't remember which episode that
like
was.
in episode 9 he's like, and like Zorome and Futoshi are very surprised because they're like, dude, even you? And he's like, yeah, man, of course I like girls too.
Oh,
and so like it's not completely
yes.
weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's like it's kind of that. And it's like, where is this going around? And of course, like one thing is that, you know, what happened to the soccer? Where's my secondary like future soccer series where everybody's like gonna have kids and then like their kids are like gonna become like the soccer stars of the future? Like
they time
what's
skipped
going
it.
on?
They skipped it. You if you had that extra episode, you would have seen it. But they had a wonderful soccer team. Like, did you see the city they ended off with at the end? They had a wonderful soccer team. No question.
Obviously. Who do you think was the best at soccer between like the three of between like the main players?
I'd say Zorome.
I think Futoshi
I think Zorome
might have been the best.
You think so?
But I feel like Futoshi, like Zorome is a little bit skinny, and like Futoshi has like such a killer build because he's not like fat, he's just like chubby, and like he's just like really, it's like really like big side to side, and depending on how fast he is, I think he could like really truck a few people. He'd be a really good football player.
Yeah. Oh man, wait. Speaking of the kids, there's one kid that we're forgetting all about who was there at the first episode and was back there at the end of the episode. Naomi. You remember her? Hiro's first partner?
Dude, that was so weird.
I mean, I'm glad they took off an arm because, like, when you look at the first episode, the thing she was riding in got crushed. But at the same time, I did not expect that girl to be alive. That was an interesting surprise.
Like, very interesting surprise. But then it makes you ask a few questions. Number one, I was happy because it was like, why not? You know, why not bring her back in the end?
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, number two, like there were like just two things that are these people like cryogenically stored. Like I just don't understand
why they would do that.
Like why? But
yeah.
Also number two, like why to begin with? Like why are the failures cryogenically stored? But also number two, when Ichigo and Hiro like are talking about her and like how she like went back to the garden, apparently a white butterfly was on the screen at the time, like in like the corner, and then everybody on the internet was like, "Oh, the white butterfly in Japanese means death. So clearly she's dead."
I mean,
so it's weird.
Like, okay, this is one of those points where I'm gonna say like it's bad. It might have been the writers giving themselves a way out. I would totally, if they told me that they planned for Naomi to be dead at the end of the series, but then by the time they got to the end, they're like, nah, screw it. Let's just give as many people as possible a happy ending. I would totally believe that. I would totally believe that they had massive rewrites as they were going towards the end. So I think that's what might have happened. Even with the series, it did seem like it could go either way. Like it could have gone into the alien plot. It could have gone into the versus Papa plot. So Naomi is weird. If I was to justify it, I would say it was Dr. Franxx. He told the Ape Council like he just wanted more research subjects. He's the one that kept the bodies. That's how I would try to justify it, but I do think this is just an issue of rewrites, and Naomi survived because of it or something.
So Brad and Crespin is like, I wish the series was longer so the plot would make more either scenes or sense. Number one,
sense.
If it is scenes, even if it is scenes, like, yeah, I agree, because I kind of wanted more scenes.
Yeah,
but if it was like sense, then
it
would have made a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. It's the little things, right? Like, why did they keep the bodies frozen? We got some lines, but we could have enjoyed a few more.
Even there, like, even in those, like, very inconsistent, you know, like, even those, like, weird, like, plot holes and inconsistencies, I don't have as much as a problem with them as, like, you know, like, elephants in the room, like, weird choices for, like, end of series things. Like, the alien thing just makes me mad because it doesn't, because when you do that with 4 episodes left, how are you going to fix this? Like, how are you going to end this? Because this is a thing that needs at least 7 episodes to flesh out and make a little bit of sense. Like, I don't even think we ever got the, what is it called? The reason that they're doing this. Like, you just had to kind of piece it together midway, like, through, like, extra lines. But, like, there should have been a scene where they explained why they were even, like, doing this, like, actually, why this evil empire or like these aliens were trying to, like, take over Earth.
Actually, I want to talk to you about the aliens, because, like, they had some key dialogues with the aliens that made the aliens seem a little bit more reasonable. But before that, there is one thing that we should keep in mind: the manga. The manga does things slightly differently. Like, it introduces the Nines much earlier and has a much bigger confrontation with the Nines earlier than it did in the anime. So the manga might be the place to go to see maybe how they were initially thinking about how to do this series, because the manga already is doing things differently. I think that would be something good for, like, the hardcore fans. If anyone's wanting to check it out, like, the manga is kind of translated online. Last time I checked, it's like chapter 20. I would recommend checking it out. But
what are you saying, Trip? Do you want them to go and pirate the manga?
How you read it, it's up to you.
How you read it. Are you promoting piracy?
I'm promoting reading the material.
The only piracy he's going to promote is One Piece, because they're pirates. He's not necessarily telling people to pirate the actual manga.
The joke was really good before you explained it.
Oh, don't worry, man. Power, you did fine. But actually, both of you. Sorry, you're gonna say something, TGC?
No.
Okay, because I want to bring this up about the aliens. Because at the end of it, the aliens see their planet disappearing, and they're like, "Oh, so you guys are just gonna go back to your meat sacks? All right, whatever. We'll build up." So, like, the aliens aren't dead by the end of it. Like, the verm are still there. But what I found interesting is that with that last episode, they confirmed the idea of reincarnation, and they confirmed the idea of a global collective or a universal collective. So I kind of want to just gauge you guys, like, without taking into account the things that the aliens did on Earth, don't you think the idea of bringing souls into a community of understanding and collectivism, is that innately a bad thing?
So I remember in a series that does this really well, Gurren Lagann. Basically, what's going on is that the anti-spirals are like a collective one thought unit that are seeing. So, like, basically, spirals are like most organisms in the universe, and they spiral energy that is, number one, gives them power, but also is threatening the universe. Too much of it will, like, cause the universe to collapse. So basically, they're going around as like a collective, entity. And the way they showcase it is like they're trying to make this one person do it, and it's like hey, you can come and be a part of us, and then like they're forcing her to be a part of them, but she doesn't want it. And that's like, so like it's about, it's not really about like being, because for Verm it's not a collective like peaceful society. It's these two entities becoming extremely powerful with like the souls of the people that they take over, not the not like these people like willing, like being a part of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like a collective, 1 million people making decisions at the same time. It's literally like just two absorbing like the matter of the others.
Which is unfortunate, because like when you read or when you heard what they were saying and you saw how they operated with things, I think you could have had the possibility for like a really interesting complex, a complex villain. But then like the trigger did the obvious villain things, like making them people who couldn't take no for an answer. Like when they got told no the first time, they decide to ransack the city. They come back the second time and they point out that what was it called, Star Child, or what was it called?
So
Like, yeah.
Whatever.
So let's say a path or whatever it was called. It was a danger to the universe, and truthfully enough, it was a danger to the universe. Like, did you see those lasers? But I think if they had been a more peaceful society, you could have had a much more interesting conflict.
Yes.
Like, I overall like the idea
agreeable.
I overall like the idea of reincarnation playing a thing in here. I like the idea of souls leaving their bodies and they get to go to another society. I just wish they didn't make them such one-note villains.
At the end of the day, Darling of the Franxx is a series that is basically the most recent example of missed potential. It had a lot to say, it had a lot to say initially, and then midway through, it seemed like it shut up and it just took a dumb turn. And if you put it back into the hands of competent people, it could have been a lot better.
On that note, though, I do want to just acknowledge, if the aliens never came, we would have had like the versus Papa plot. And to be fair, if we had gone down that road, I would have expected a lot more character death happening. I would have expected a lot more of the kids to die. And I would have found it really interesting to see how they were going to deal with just how they were going to win in that situation. I think giving them the aliens was the ultimate way out, because it removed a really competent villain. And I think it would have been very difficult to have written their way through that potential potential storyline. So I do agree with you. If competent people did have Darling the Franxx, we could have seen like some really interesting maneuvers. But part of me is really happy that we went the simplified route, because the simplified route gave us a lot of survival for the kids.
I mean, yeah, like that was a thing. But even then, like that late into the story, we were talking about because we were saying like, I remember we like picked and choose who we thought was gonna die,
mm-hmm.
And interestingly, like all of us were wrong about like how the series would play out, like that they would join the Klaxosaurs, and I was like, they're gonna stay with Papa. Like, turned out that like they just fought aliens at the end, so nothing really happened. But we were all saying, well, Goro is probably gonna die, or Ichigo might die, or 02, or whoever, which is a thing. But then instead, if we had went down that route, if like a writer was given, it's like a thing. It's like they joined the Klaxosaur princess because they realized she's right, and then basically Hero and 02 just like completely destroyed Papa, right? Like that's how I would have seen it go.
Me too, because that's the only way they would have been able to mount a defense. They find out the Klaxosaurs are actually nice, and then they launch a joint operation.
It's literally just Hero and 02 just like boom, doing the red Strelitzia thing, and they just like completely destroy everybody in their path. Starting at the end, it was still, like I was talking about it with a couple people. I talked about it with Alibaba. He was like, I'd still give it an 8 or 7 out of 10. I was like, man, maximum I can give this series is like a 5. You can't end so poorly and expect me to respect you. You can't insult my intelligence near the end and ask me like to respect you in any way. So for you, like how would you rate the series, knowing what you know now?
The emotional satisfaction of so many kids surviving is definitely getting to me and is influencing my choice. I'd go around a 7. I'd go around a 7, maybe a 6, depending on what I choose to focus on.
I think the first 15 episodes are very strong.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, like, if this ended at episode 15, how would you, like, where would you rate it?
I'd rate it a 7 because there's a lot of loose ends that you have to like you just ended the series. Like, what about the Claxosaurs and stuff? Yeah. Or like, sorry, what about Papa and stuff? What about these things that you alluded to? But at least then I'm like, I'm happy. I'm very happy that, at this point, like I was happy during that episode. I smiled. And then like, I also like, if you actually, a perfect time to end it would have been during Mitsuru and Kokoro's wedding. If you just let them get married, I would have been very happy.
Oh man, so that wedding
just head to episode 17.
Yeah.
If you end between like episodes 12 and 17, that would have been fine. Episode 18 was a wash. Episode 19 wasn't all that better. Episodes 20 through 23 were pretty bad.
Yeah, episode 18 was the start of the third act, and that's where things started getting really weird. Like that's where we started having the Nana plot with her figuring out her memories again, and everyone talking really cryptically about what's going on with her. And then that's also where you had
episode 19, but episode 18 was like the entire one episode flashback.
That flashback, 19 was a flashback, yeah.
18 was a flashback.
Oh no, I'm looking it up now. 19 was a flashback.
Oh, okay. I'm wrong then.
Yeah, you're just one episode off. But hey, close enough, man.
So, yeah. It's interesting, man. It's very...
Overall, I think this is Trigger. I think this was very Trigger, though.
This was not Trigger, because at the end of the day...
No, man, this was totally Trigger.
No, because it's not like they took any stupid liberties, right? It's not like... Because this is just like a very retarded way to write a series. What I expect from Trigger is for you to be like really stupid, but at least make me entertained. Like entertainment for the sake of entertainment. This was actually retarded. Like this was like actually retarded. Like I can't even describe it for that. Like Trigger makes things stupid.
I'm 1 second. I'm losing you guys. I'm just gonna opt out here real quick. Okay. I can't hear TGC, so we'll just give him a second. Oh, are you back now?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yeah, I could so you're saying it's more likely A1 was responsible for it, how they...
No, I'm not saying... I'm saying that this was like a joint effort to just be like completely retarded, and that's it. Like both of them were really dumb when they made this, when they were writing, because it's like when you're writing, it's not like one of them did half the story and the other did half the story. No, they sent their best writers or whatever writers that they had into like a room, and they were like, all right guys, write me a 24 episode anime about these kids who fight fucking dinosaurs. And they were like, okay, we'll do it. And then for whatever reason, Trigger writers and the A1 writers were like, dude, you know what'd be really awesome? During episode 20, we introduced a bunch of fucking aliens for no reason. And just to do it. It's retarded. It's Trigger by themselves. I've seen Trigger stories. Trigger stories are just, it's dumb, but at least it's dumb enough so that like I'm smiling and I'm like, all right, this is stupid, but like really whatever at the same time. Like it's funnily stupid. Like it's stupid and hilarious, and it's like stupid and entertaining. This was just stupid. This just pissed me off.
Like how a lot of people were ticked off by Black Butler Season 2, which was anime original by A1 Pictures. That's what I get. Whenever I think of something made by A1, when it comes to they had complete control over the plot, I always remember that. It's completely stupid.
From my perspective, when I think of Trigger, I think of unequal treatment for characters, or pretty much fat characters don't get to have their time in the spotlight. I think of escalation of whatever is the main plot. Like things will just get crazy by the last 4 episodes. I expect logical lapses of judgment or just common sense. That happens a lot in Trigger shows. So them going all the way with the aliens, I don't really care about that much. That's just part of escalation for me. But otherwise, the core things of what I've seen in Trigger shows, when it comes to that critical point, that being how they treat their characters, I think Darling in the Franxx is keeping that pattern alive and strong. Like, heck, man, do you remember the 3 9s that were just twins? That was just Trigger not wanting to make any more character designs, and then all of a sudden they disappear. You don't even get to see who's piloting who in those final sequences for the 9s. But that's just how Trigger treats a bunch of their characters.
Come on, that was like funny. Come on, man, that was just funny.
Yeah, it is funny. It is funny on that point of view. But it's just how Trigger treats their characters as they're getting towards the end of a season. They will start sacrificing some of the characters' attention or right to attention just because the deadlines are getting more, I guess, getting closer or something. Like, I'll always feel bad for Futoshi. I will always feel bad for Futoshi not getting his own episode.
Who didn't get Ikuno got half an episode, so Miku got an episode. That was the tape episode.
Yeah.
Zorome got his own episode. Mitsuru got more than one episode for himself. Goro got his own episode. Ichigo was there. Her episode was episode like 13 when she got death threats. She caused people.
Oh yeah, death threats when the love for Darling in the Franxx was at the highest.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then so everybody got an episode except for Futoshi. That's so sad.
It's just the nature of the, I guess, development cycles for these anime. Things will get sacrificed on the wayside. 1 second, Prower. Okay.
I'm guessing Trigger was like, well, we gave him an episode, but he ate it.
Oh, wow.
Because that's what Trigger thinks of fat people. They're like, okay, yeah, there we go.
Oh, man, I still feel bad for Jasminka from Little Witch Academia. I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, you see those like things where it's like Jasminka is basically a mix of Futoshi and Kokoro. So but yeah, that was Darling in the Franxx, man. Darling in the Franxx had a very, you know what? Here's a very good way to describe it. The best of Trigger and A1 were in Darling in the Franxx during the first 10 episodes. You know, like sure, the next 5 episodes are fine too, right? The best of Darling in the Franxx was the first 10 episodes. It was like as if A1 and Trigger had perfected one another. You know, they were working on like a very symbiotic, like in a symbiotic relationship, and they were like, it was mutualistic, and they were doing, you know, great things. And then the last 6 it's like both of them started draining each other out, and the worst in both of them started to appear. And that's how Darling in the Franxx went. The first 10 episodes are great. The next 5 are pretty good. The next 3 are whatever, and the next 6 are terrible. You know, it was an interesting fall.
That's pretty good. I understand that and respect that. For me, Darling in the Franxx was the first 15 episodes did a really great job wanting me to care about getting me to care about the characters. If we had just gotten past those 15 episodes and they could have just given me a happy ending for all the characters, I would have been super happy, because by episode 15, I don't want to see these kids struggling anymore. I want them to have a happy life. Episode 24 gave me that, so on that emotional point of view, I'm very happy. How they got to that emotional happy ending, okay, like there is a lot of things that can be said about it. Yeah, so many things to be said about it. I'm just happy I got my happy ending.
But then you want to see don't you feel kind of bad because Hero and 02 literally just flew across half the universe and they never got to live with their friends ever again? Like, think about it. They never saw their friends ever again.
Actually, the moment that you brought the reincarnation system into this, I don't care anymore. Because as far as I'm concerned, when those kids get reincarnated back onto that final scene in the final episode, there's nothing saying that the rest of Squad 13 didn't also reincarnate. Because the moment you brought reincarnation... Look, I don't care about dying anymore when reincarnation's a thing. Because I know.
Okay, but maybe the reincarnation was like very specific to them, because you saw their souls falling back to the tree. Because... because you remember how when her statue fell, what appeared from under her was
a tree.
Was a tree.
Yeah,
was the sprout of that tree. So
yeah.
Maybe it's very just specific to them, and like their souls are going back to it because it's like a symbolization of like their bond or whatever. Like, what if it doesn't apply to that? Like, what if it doesn't apply to them? I mean, to the rest of the group.
That's a really good point.
And it's interesting because Hero, for like the only time in the series, calls them the gang. That made me laugh.
Oh,
it's like he called them the gang.
Yeah, that was a much more friendly word than what he used to call them. Yeah, anyway, that's a really good point about the tree. But because the Verm pointed out and asked the souls that were escaping their planet if they were just going to go back to their meat bodies, because the Verm pointed that out, I'm thinking that reincarnation is a universal constant for this universe. So, you know, I'm not sure. I feel because they didn't give us enough information, I can make whatever happy ending I want in my head. And the reincarnation system just kind of made it easier for me, you know? Like, now when I see a character having a terrifying death, I care a little bit less. Because souls are a thing, and the afterlife is a thing, so I'm really not too concerned about their next happy life.
Yeah, the only series I would figure would you have less concern over a character death would be something like Dragon Ball, because they literally brought back with Wish. Well, in Darling in the Franxx, if that is the case, they will be brought back as the reincarnation, but it'll take a while till they did go through development and all that. Not so instantaneous.
I mean, personally, I like the reincarnation system as a way out to a happy ending, but I think it would have been ballsier if they left that very ambiguous.
I mean, they did leave it ambiguous. Like, I would have preferred it to see all of Future's Hero, 02, Zorome, all of them, every single one, just standing there and being happy.
Yeah,
like, I would have friends, as little kids. That would have been the best.
Yeah, that would have been the best. And then they start playing soccer. That would have been the best. But I'll take what I get.
I want.
Yeah.
Look, man, I wanted, you know, like my favorite parts of the series, number one were the slice of life episodes, but also like the endings were fun. Like about if this story was very successful. They could have had like spin-off series where instead of these people are in like 20 like current day, modern day, and
Yeah.
like they're just these characters are going like high school. That would have been fun.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What if the ending songs were actually the reincarnated kids?
Oh, but now we're never gonna get to see that because
Man,
they
yeah,
never,
I
no one
would
would ever invest anything into a spin-off of this show.
have watched that. I would have watched that because I care about these characters enough that I want to see how they have high school life. I want to see their high school drama. I would at least watch like
Me
6
too.
episodes of that. Man, they could even
Dude,
make
me too.
they could make a special, and I'd totally watch that.
Dude, all right, that's like I gotta go to like petition.org or whatever and start something for that because honestly, like as much of the series is bad, like people give a shit about these characters, man.
Yeah,
These
I
characters
care.
are like pretty good.
I care about them so much. Actually, you know what? Trigger, when it came to Little Witch Academia, Trigger had the 2 movies first and then the series. I think it'd be cool if we could get 2 movies for Darling in the Franxx after the series. I'd be totally
Yes.
down for it. I'd be into it.
I'll be so down for that, dude. Just like the modern day
Darling in the
gang
Franxx. Yeah,
doing
sometimes sometimes they make a reference to like, hey, I had a dream that we were fighting dinosaurs, and then they're like, you're dumb. We wouldn't do that. And I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Okay, all right, man. All right, okay. We have to bounce around ideas for this right now. Who would say that line? Like out of anybody in the group, who would be the one to say that?
Futoshi.
Sorome gets like the most of the stigma for being like kind of dumb, so I feel like it would be him.
He's my second pick, but I go for Futoshi first. Prower, give me a second. I'm disconnecting for a second. Right, back in. Prower, in your opinion, who would you want being the person to like float that idea?
I guess Rome, because I'm pretty sure if Trigger did have that moment, they would have Futoshi eating during the moment. Because again, Trigger with anyone who isn't just perfect shape automatically is not treated well.
Man, you're just really brutal with that.
Hey man, I like. You know, if they gave him just a little bit of more attention, I would have appreciated him more because I liked his like little character quirk of like just eating a bunch of food. It's good, man. Like, nice. The dude eats. It's cool. That's fine. Just like give him more attention than him just being in the background all the time and then basically being cucked midway through the series. That was interesting.
That being a creeper, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, like treat him a little bit better than that.
he grew out of it.
That was my cupcake.
Actually, by the end of the series, it seemed like the kids didn't understand the idea of population control. Because, like, everyone was having more than 3 kids. I found that really interesting. I found that, like as a sign of them going back to how bad things were in the first place.
Well, to be fair, they have a pretty low population to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's like Futoshi's having a 3rd kid by the end of it. I think Kokoro and Mitsuru are on their 4th.
Dude, tops, there's like 4,000 people on the planet at that point.
Fair.
Yeah, and there shouldn't be too much more after what they've already made. It's not like as if they're rabbits.
Okay, you guys.
And he was like,
made your point.
it was interesting because he was like, how old at that point? Like tops 20, like it's like 8 years later. If you're gonna add it on, like if you're gonna, so like if it was like 2 years later and then 8 years later after the 2 years, and now it's like 10 years. Yeah. It's like tops 26. Maybe if you want to make it like 28, probably not. Like at that point in the series, like at the beginning of the series, they're either like 14, 15, or 16.
Yeah.
So it was like 24 or 26, somewhere around that age. That's really young to have 4 kids. But then again, I mean, like, Kokoro did have a teen pregnancy.
Yeah, and to be fair, like we should assume that this is back when life expectancy is like at 30 for the parasites in general. For kids before 30, that doesn't seem unrealistic to me by medieval standards, you know?
Based on accelerated aging, I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, accelerated aging, but then Ikuno just like takes that out. So
Yeah.
their life expectancy, at least at this point now that they're not being like killed off or like put into cryo chambers, it's supposed to be around 60, especially because they have the technology to do it too. At least 78, 80 probably, but 60 just to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the cryo people were pretty interesting too.
And then also about like a spin-off where it's just a slice of either a slice of like series of them in high school or a slice of like movie of them in high school. Like, dude, that would be so fun. Like, you could have extra characters and stuff now. You wouldn't just have to like limit it to like these 11 kids, and then like like Ikuno gets to like explore who she is as a person, like her sexuality is like as a lesbian,
and then like
we get to like see this as like
a bunch of the girls could run against the backdrop of a train because they love running apparently, because we saw that in the endings. It would have been very dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, there was also that scene with Ikuno about to kiss Ichigo or something in the ending, right? She could have that scene.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, she could have that scene.
It'd be interesting if like all the characters are like, I'm not doing this like as a political, like if every single one of the characters were bi, if they were all experimenting, we could do a lot of stuff considering what like this series was trying to do early on.
Yeah, man, the girls also had a slumber party at some point. They could have, that would have made things so interesting.
Slumber party was like, it's like 50, like, dude, I don't even want the guys to show up anymore. Just like all the girls having like their cute little moe moments in like modern day.
Prower, you're just kind of listening to us, just like kind of like spitball here. Sorry, Prower.
It's okay. You guys talking about this kind of stuff does remind me Attack on Titan has its own sort of spin-off thing. That's
it does.
Like
and
the high school thing, right?
I mean, I guess Attack on Titan's like, you know, like super. It's basically like the most popular anime of like the last 10 years, to be honest.
Yeah, that and Sword Art. That and Sword Art.
Sword Art and My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Attack on Titan did have #2 in manga sales last year.
Yeah. So like
I don't
and like also Naruto had that. They got like the chibi thing too.
Yeah. Although Attack on Titan, like the characters don't really like get to me as much as the Darling and the Franxx characters do.
Yeah, it's at least worth investing in because he has like some better characters than Attack on Titan. Like, I don't care how like Connie and like and who like whatever Sasha. Other person.
Sasha.
Connie
John.
and Sasha interact. Like Sasha, John, Angie. I don't care how these people interact. Like, I want to see more Goro and Ikuno moments. Like, I want to see them having like a heartfelt conversation.
Yeah.
Like on like the steps or whatever.
Yeah.
Of school. I want to see how like, these people deal with bullies. Like Futoshi's getting bullied for like being a fatty, and then like Zorome comes in and like he defends him, and then like, you know, it would just be interesting. Or maybe one of these characters becomes a bully. You get to see like new takes on like each, like now we don't have a depressed hero all the time.
Yeah, and when they become the bully, it could be they could dress up like Jotaro for a reference. Like everyone watching be like, it's a JoJo reference. There we go.
Is that a fucking JoJo's reference? Yeah, and like there's just be so much possibilities with this, man. All the girls could be like, all the guys could play soccer. Like, I'll be on the soccer team.
So, in other words, what we're ultimately like seeing here is that Darling in the Franxx has excellent characters. Darling in the Franxx was on a good roll when it was on the sitcom plot, and we really need more of that.
basically, Darling in the Franxx should have been a sitcom, is what we're saying.
Papa could be a principal, and then the kids have to try and circumvent Papa because he's a terrible principal.
Dude, I would watch like every single week. Okay, now there's not like enough writing prowess like in any slice of life group to do that. I would watch like a 12 episodes, like 3 more seasons of this, like 12 episodes each of just like good slice of life episodes for like the rest. I don't know, however long, man.
Actually,
I would love that, even if it got bad at some point.
Mentioning that,
yeah, I have a feeling if it kept on going with that, that's based on what you're sounding. The closest thing I could think of besides Attack on Titan spin-off would be something like Baka to Test would be something I would be similar to.
Actually, on the note of 12 episodes, like overall, do we think is it better off or are anime better off if they just do 12 episode stints? Because I feel
let's think about it. So
I feel like a big problem is like doing 24 episodes. Like it's a lot of stress week to week, and it's a lot of material to fit in 24 episodes of material. That's an undertaking.
Well, so I was talking about with someone else a few weeks ago, and basically we came to the consensus is like there are some series that I would watch 50 episodes of if they had 50 more episodes of it. So, for example, two series that came out last season were 12 episodes. Megalobox was a 12 episoder, and so was Hinamatsuri. Hinamatsuri is interesting. Is like on this opposite scale, and a season before that, A Place Further Than the Universe came out. So the thing with these 3 series is that one of them is like a slice of life, like little moe whatever series in Hinamatsuri. It's very funny. That's like kind of what it is. I mean, the other 2 are plot driven, so they have like plots that you got to pay attention to. So for A Place Further Than the Universe, it has 12 episodes because it can't last longer than 12 episodes. If you elongated it to 24, it would be impossible, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why it's 12 episodes. For Megalobox, it only has 12 episodes worth of content, so that's why that's also 12 episodes. For Hinamatsuri, it's 12 episodes because they wanted it to be 12 episodes. It could have gone on for 24 because Hinamatsuri is more of like just like jokes, and for them, I guess 12 episodes is like the duration of how much they could really for it. And of course, the series is good enough to warrant for second seasons and third seasons that'll probably be in demand for like a few years until they bring it back. So that's how series work. So based on that, when you have a plot-driven story that really shouldn't last longer than 12, then yes, it shouldn't last longer than 12. But like when it needs to last longer than 12, like some series just need 24 episodes because they have that much. For example, I like to bring up Gungrave, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo. Gungrave is interesting. Is out of those 3 classics. Is it had a singular linear story over 26 episodes. Basically, like there were no like extra 2 episode arcs or whatever. It was basically you were watching the entire thing from start to finish, and it was one singular plot. While the other 2, like you had 1 to 2 episode arcs. So when you want to do something that long, and you need that much material, going up to 26 episodes is important. If you can have 4 episode arcs, 3 episode arcs, where you get like interesting stories behind that. But if you have a series that's like a singular plot, Gungrave is the only one that I think that I can come to mind that does it for 26 episodes straight and keeps you in without feeling elongated. Even though sometimes it does, like sometimes some episodes you might feel like there's no reason for this to have taken so long, but still, like for going from series to series, it's interesting to see this. And the general consensus is that some series don't have enough writing, but some do. And depending on the type and depending on how much you can. So Darling, had they been able to cut out some stuff, could have went up to 24 and been consistently paced the entire time.
Okay, so you're saying ultimately it had enough material that if it was done right, 24 episodes would not have been a problem for it.
And I don't think cutting it into 12, because then you're just like hitting less story beats, right?
Okay. Okay, what about the idea of splitting the season instead of doing all 24 episodes concurrently, splitting the season, doing the first half in spring and the second half, like, say, in winter? I wonder if having a bit of a break would have let the writers tackle the second half a little bit better. Like, was
But here's the thing, like,
were they burnt out? Series, is my question. Do you think they were burnt out?
No, because when you have a writing room, you write the story within the first few weeks of production. This is how anime works.
Okay.
Is that you animate things like basically you have like half the series animated before like the show even starts. You're just going to final production. So you have the story written, you have most of it most of it animated. You just need more voice acting and you need like extra production things. That's what you're doing. But other than that, like this, I think it needed more production, more pre-production things, more pre-production time. I think they needed more time before the series started to write this out. But other than that, they weren't burned out. They just wrote it poorly from start to finish.
I don't know, man. Like, okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do remember some instances of rewriting issues. I remember in Gurren Lagann, they showed a flash forward sequence of a bunch of people fighting in space. The initial idea was that was going to be the ending scene of the show. And then by the end of the show, we were in a completely different direction. That first scene became something that people had to theorize about. What did that scene mean? I remember in Gundam, I do think that there were some rewrite issues within Gundam. So that's why I thought the anime gets gets written like on a week-to-week basis. That's where I was coming from when I thought that.
Well,
so,
no, okay. So for Gurren Lagann, it was more like because there was like a break between. It was like a 2-week break or like a 1-week break, and basically like the production of the first half of the show had finished. So basically, like the first arc where they fight the Gomen, the king of the Beastmen.
Yeah.
They fight like the king of the Beastmen, and they're like claiming the surface of the earth back for the humans. That's like written before the show started, so they know where the series is going. So basically, the rest of the writing team is now writing over the next how many other weeks until that goes on, until they need to do it again.
Okay.
It's because it would, if that's how anime worked, it would be impossible to do week to week like writing. So like if this is so like if the writing team wrote the episode on Monday, right? They'd have to take from Monday till Tuesday. They'd have to take 2 days, 2 work days to write like 24 episodes or 24 minutes worth. Okay, and then then it would have to be passed on to the animation team, and then the animation team would have to animate, and then they'd have to get in the voice actors at the same time. So they'd have to schedule the voice actors. The voice actors have multiple gigs at the same time, but they'd have to do that, and they'd have to come in, and they'd have to match every single frame to the voice actors' lip. Then after that, it would have to go into production to match. While this is going on, the writers have already started to focus on the second episode. So, like, even if that were the case, the writers, number one, they don't take an entire week on an episode because be impossible. 24 minutes isn't really that long to write for, especially when you have an entire team. But number two, they just pick the next episode right up after that.
Okay.
So it just makes a lot more sense for a lot of studios to do the writing before the season starts. And then there will be like writing discrepancies, so like some episodes will change because the director just wants something else. But generally that's how it's going.
Okay. I just want to give a quick note because I'm mentioning it to someone on the chat. It doesn't happen this way for Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just interesting trivia. For Yu-Gi-Oh! They rewrite plots for the show based on the real world card sales, because if an archetype of a card gets really popular, they need to change the show a little bit to showcase the popular card type. So I just thought that was like an interesting little tidbit to put in there for anime production. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is such a different beast. Like, it's a 150 long show. They can afford to rewrite at that point, I guess. But otherwise, TGC, thank you very much for that bit of information. I don't really know about the anime production cycles really well. It's something I really want to find out more about.
This is interesting.
But yeah. Well, otherwise, what do you think, Prower, about the 12 episode thing? We haven't gotten your opinion.
Well, the points, there was several strong points made by TGC. I ultimately do believe it depends on multiple factors. One being how, if it's an anime on.
Oh, wait, Prower, stop talking. 1 second.
Etc. How much of material is there to be adapted? Because you don't want to necessarily have to rely on too many filler episodes. Another thing is with animation studio, because if it's Bones, then I would be perfectly fine in most situations have a 24 episode, 25 episode long season. If it's someone like A1 Pictures, I probably would be more comfortable with 12 to 13.
The problem with A1 is that they just don't have enough budget. Like, they just don't make as much money as Bones does, and they don't know. They're just really bad at like acquiring talent. Like, think about it like sports. Power, real quick. Like, basically, Madhouse is the Patriots, and they're just really good at picking out like rookie animators, and they're just really good at like hiring animators. And they're good at not blowing their money around. And then, like, on the other hand, A1's just, like, really bad at that. And so, like, number one, they just have, like, slightly less budget sometimes. And if they don't have, like, sometimes even if you do have a large budget, you just waste the money on stupid things. Or, like, you just waste the money on the wrong type of animator. You don't get the right ones. And, like, you waste too much money on the director. So, like, it's just bad business decisions. Like, think of them like teams. It's like A1's problem is just like that. They just don't know how to use their money.
Okay.
Right, they're still living off of, in some cases, SAO money. We're gonna be honest.
No, I mean, like, they make, I'm pretty sure they make money off of the sales, but the merchandise sales, but like they're not really making money off that anymore. They make money off like the ratings weekly from the shows that they make. It's just that like they're bad at choosing. They make money, but they're bad at using like the budgets that they have and like allocating them accordingly to what they should in a show. So like they don't get talented animators, and they don't pay their drawing staff enough, and it's like things like that.
Not to mention that they usually are known for picking up shows that are mediocre in terms of how they're seen as before even becoming animated and whatnot. That's a reputation among many fan bases I've noticed.
Like, think about it, like a football team paying an overage like a past his prime running back like too much money, and then like their cap is now like way down.
Right.
They're having trouble like moving around. So basically that's them. They're bad at doing that stuff, even though they make hella money. Like they're good at making money. That's why they're still there. Like if they weren't making money, they probably have dissolved a long time ago because they're not that good. But
Right.
but also they just don't make enough to like get licensed to like the bigger series, which is sad for them. But whatever.
Right.
What's your favorite and least favorite anime?
What?
Trip. This is from Katos 2K.
Oh. Favorite and least favorite. Man, I don't even know anymore. I'm so I've watched so many. It doesn't really affect me as much anymore. For favorite, I'll say One Piece because I have a lot of sentimental value about it. I made a really good friend over talking with him about One Piece, and it was the first friend I ever made talking about anime with. So that was a really cool experience. So he's always gonna be like prevalent in my mind. Least favorite, man. If I don't like something, I'm not gonna watch it. Least favorite, maybe Katanagatari. That was an interesting one, and it ultimately.
You don't like Katanagatari?
No, I have a very good reason. I have a very, very legit reason for it. I like it on paper. I like it as a critic. I like it when you like sit down, like, and you can say like, oh yeah, there's a lot of good things here. But the last episode it's the only anime that's ever made me feel sick to my stomach over how bad I felt for the last 5 minutes, or like the last ending sequence of that show. It made me feel so sick. So that's the only one that I would say is my least favorite. It's because I know I'm gonna have a physical reaction to the ending, and it makes me feel nauseous.
Interesting.
It's the only one that's ever done that to me, and it's during the ending sequence where you have the white-haired girl underneath the tree, and then you have the sequence of everyone that was in that series. It just bothers me. It bothers me on a fundamental level. I was just very disgusted after seeing that little sequence. I don't know why. I think I got really invested with the characters, and I just don't think I reacted well with it. I like the novelty of that feeling, though. It's the only anime that's ever given me that.
Interesting. What about you, Prowler? What are your thoughts on this?
My favorite would likely be either Hunter x Hunter or My Hero Academia, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Well, my least favorite, that would be hard to say considering, as Trip stated, I feel the same way. If I don't like it, I'm not going to necessarily watch too much of it, so I'm not going to count anything that I've not watched an episode of or not seen on like an episode 2 of, or episode 1 or 2 of. So by that logic, I know get a lot of flack, but Naruto.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not gonna give you a flack for that.
Interesting. For me, my favorite series, recently something moved into like my top 3. Violet Evergarden. I love that show so much.
Oh yeah, that show was so pretty. Times. That show was so pretty.
It was so pretty. It was like beautiful and everything, and then it also made me cry. So like at the same, and the soundtrack was like it literally like hit on every note. It's my anime of the year, but yeah, so that got into my top 3, but still my favorite anime is GTO. Because GTO was so funny. If you haven't watched Great Teacher Onizuka, like even you Trip, like if you haven't watched GTO, watch GTO because GTO is hilarious.
Okay.
It's probably the funniest anime. Not even like it's not even hyperbole. It just and my least favorite is Kuroko no Basket because I like the sport of basketball, and then it just kind of spits basketball taste, and that makes.
All right, that's pretty fair. That I understand that kind of line of thought.
Or I mean, or fairy tale. Also fairy tale. Fairy tale makes me mad too.
Yeah, Fairy Tale does make me mad, but I already know enough not to get in too many episodes.
Man, I enjoy Fairy Tale for what it is. I just sit there and I enjoy it. Not a problem for me.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is like when you get emotionally invested.
Ah, yes, yes. Yeah, that always is the problem when you get emotional.
Yeah, so like when you're like emotionally invested, like because at 150 episodes, if you're not emotionally invested, then what's the point? But you're emotionally invested, and then like nothing ever happens. And you just feel like you're getting like dicked out every 20 episodes or whatever. At that point, it just makes you mad. So I guess yeah, I don't what's it called as much. Vampire Diaries is his least favorite
For
because
Kados, yeah.
you don't know what type of meat you want to ride.
Anyway, guys, are we at the end of this live stream?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've kind of like just unless someone just wants to ask us a question.
Yeah, I guess we can open up the
Like
Q and
one,
A.
yeah. Let's like we could just turn this into like a 5 extra long minute Q&A.
Yeah,
Anybody wants that?
I mean, we're at 1 hour and 52 minutes. I'm cool
You
waiting
want to
until
aim
like
for
2 hours.
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.
Are you
I
okay
think
with
every
that
single
power?
podcast.
Yeah, I'm still here. When it comes to timing wise, I probably don't have to. Probably gonna take my dogs out soon, so
Okay, yeah.
I just want to reach
Eight
that too
minutes.
because I think like most of our
Podcasts are two
what's it called
hours.
has been 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So let's bounce around some ideas. Uh, so have either of you watched Samurai Champloo?
I
In my
have not.
childhood,
Damn, dude, what were you watching as a kid? That was like not a show for kids.
Oh man, I watched Adult Swim all the time. I just stayed up all night and then like just kind of hid away and watched it.
Wow. Okay. So like Samurai Champloo versus Cowboy Bebop.
I think I like Cowboy Bebop more. That said, like I don't have very strong opinions about either. I I didn't really enjoy Cowboy Bebop style. Like between Cowboy Bebop and Outlaw Star, I liked Outlaw Star a lot more. I
When it
think
comes,
I think Cowboy Bebop was too gritty for my child sensibilities, whereas Outlaw Star still had a level of fantasy that I really liked. And I think it's just that.
that's because you were watching that series that's not meant for you as a child.
I know, but it's a note about like how when you watch something, how your perspective at that time could change your ultimate opinion about it. Just a interesting note.
When it comes to like, because I just watched both of them recently. Like I came to the conclusion. Well, I watched Cowboy Bebop like about a few years ago, and then I just watched Samurai Champloo, and Champloo is just so much more fun. I mean, it's like samurais and like hip hop at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. It's just better.
My former roommate really liked Samurai Champloo because of the hip hop. I thought that was an interesting reason.
That yeah, it's just aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's better. Vampire Knight.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, what else? What else? What else can we do to drag this out to 2 hours?
Well, I guess I could tell Trip more about that good old SP glitch that's gonna probably go away in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, the SP glitch.
Wait,
on,
what?
when he-
So what's the point of that?
Well,
it's just a funny. It's for the humor, not necessarily for just to explain what happened.
It's like after that. It's like after the stream ends, like Trip has 2 minutes to do the SP glitch.
Yeah.
He's running. He's like, come on.
I'm googling it right now. I'm googling it right now. The SP glitch for Fire Emblem Heroes.
Well, I could explain it to you perfectly fine.
Okay.
I remember.
Okay, what it
Our
is.
first podcast about Fire Emblem Heroes. I fell asleep.
Yes.
I was just like, I can't be a part of this conversation, and I muted myself and I deafened myself and I just like headed to bed.
Oh wait, we have another question from John Ace of Card. Is Aizawa the new dad for Eri? Yes. Obviously. Yes.
Yes, basically.
He has to. That's gonna be his new role.
Right. And to explain to you how you do it, Trip, is that you go to Grand Hero Battle, doesn't matter which difficulty.
Uh-huh.
And you have one of your units kill one of the enemy units, then you press restart. Every single time you do that, it goes up, doubles the amount of SP you would get to a certain point. If you start getting into the 700s...
Did you kick him? Oh, there he is.
What?
Oh, great. It cut off while I was in the middle of explaining, didn't it?
Yeah, that was funny. I thought that was TGC sabotaging you.
Let me explain it again, then. Well, you go to one of the Grand Hero battles.
Okay, I kicked him this time, because that was pretty...
Don't be mean.
I mean, it was for the comedic sense, because like I didn't kick him the first time, but this time I do. Just for shits and giggles. I wonder how long I'm going to be in there.
Please come back, Prower.
He doesn't know yet.
Oh no. Okay, meanwhile, we have another question. Who would win, Sakura versus Hinata at the pinnacle at the war? I think Hinata. She has more skills.
No, Sakura, dude. It's not even close.
Really? You think so?
She takes the place of one of the 3 legendary summoning. Her summons are like at summoning level at that point. Her healing ability is like through the roof, and also she's just stronger than Hinata.
Okay, 1 second. I need to call Prower back, man. Like,
no, I can move him back. It's fine. It's funny though.
Oh, there he is. Prower?
Yeah, I can move him back. I moved him out.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to help him. That is so rude.
It's funny.
I thought so too, Prower. I thought it was pretty rude too. I felt really bad. But okay, I'm in the Grand Hero battle and I'm trying to do it. I just have to restart whenever I kill someone?
Yeah, you kill someone and then you restart.
Okay, but otherwise, TGC, that whole thing about I think Hinata can win on the basis that she can block chakra points. I think Hinata can approach her and screw her up, right? Like the Hyugas have a win button usually.
Okay, but like from a pure power level standpoint, because at this point in Naruto, it no longer matters about skill set. From a pure power level standpoint, number one, she's far and away like the strongest person in the series at this point, like physically. But number two, she's just better, man. Like she has more summons. Like she can summon the slug. The slug is just a very useful summon.
Mm-hmm.
And like she just has constant healing the entire time, while Hinata is like Neji light, and I don't feel like, and like she has the fist at this point, and it's really good. I just don't feel like good enough to beat her, especially because of how much of a spotlight that Sakura gets at that point in the series.
Okay.
Uh,
Prower,
we've reached 2 hours, right?
sorry, Prower, I just got 384 SP on this thing. That's ridiculous. Holy.
Yeah, and there's 4 minutes left, so
Yeah.
take advantage while you still can.
I can do it. But yeah, okay, TG, that's fair. I feel like if Sakura was at long distance, alright, I'd give it to her. Sakura could probably beat it, but I think if she lets Hinata too close.
Even if Hinata's like close, like, I mean, what are you really doing to Sakura? Like, Sakura's abilities come down to physical strength and healing. Like, even if you're blocking her chakra points, like, she can't. That doesn't really matter.
No,
like, yeah, her punches are charged by her chakra, but
and like healing, everything is charged by chakra, right? So that's why I feel like she could get a technicality kill.
Yeah, but like before the fight begins, you imagine that she starts up she does a summon, and then basically she's just like constantly regaining HP, like health points. Like she just always healed the entire battle because of her summon, and like yeah, you're like blocking her chakra points, but eventually she's gonna land a hit on you, and her hits are basically knockout quality.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, I feel like the best way to say this, I'd say, given that Sakura knows what Hinata can do, I'd say if they were to have 100 fights, I could see Sakura winning 80 of them, for instance. I think Hinata could squeeze a couple of victories.
She has Lion's Palm, which is in long range. Honestly, dude, I don't like remember enough of like either of their skill sets to say so for long. Certain.
Yeah, it's been so
if
long
like
now.
It would be, yeah. But like from what I do remember, it like just the fact that Sakura just played such a bigger role during like that end of the series, and like the fact that she was like she played one of the biggest roles fighting against Kaguya says something about how she's just really strong. That she basically took Tsunade's place as at that point in the army. I guess in like a fight, like maybe in a fight, like not when it comes down to fire, but like in a fight, she loses Tsunade or whatever. But sure.
We've reached 2 hours, right?
Yes, we have.
Mm-hmm.
Just to close it off, Kados was just saying that he made a point about organ failure. You can't train your organs, but I think TGC's healing point is the thing that counters that one. But okay. Otherwise, we are at the end of the stream. Guys, do you have any last things you want to say? Besides, I'm going to tell you guys thank you for doing this, and thanks for bringing me on for this one.
It's no problem. I was glad to join.
And of course, thank you TGC for rallying us up together.
Yeah, this was like, I don't know, probably the last podcast we're gonna do for a while, which is weird because I didn't say this last time, and then like we didn't do a podcast for a while. Like since like there's honestly nothing for us to talk about for like the next while. I mean, other than My Hero Academia, but there's not really a point of having a conversation about that
every week, at least.
Or not like every week, but like, I mean, I guess the next podcast that we could do would be like the recap of the entire season as a whole.
Yeah. But okay, guys.
Possibly.
Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out on the channel. Are we good?
Yeah, see you guys later. I'll see you. Who's on here? Shoutouts to Kados2K and John Ace of Card for showing up and being cool, and also Brian S. and who else? Brandon Crispin. You guys are cool. You guys are awesome. Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, ending the podcast stream